Hi everyone, it's meteorologist Joe Chaffee, and it seems like all the winter fun is up in Maine and in interior New Hampshire. Another major storm is about to hit them, although this one is not going to be quite as fierce as the one we just had. The snowfall amounts are going to be about half of what the one from yesterday produced. Some phenomenal amounts of 20 to 35 inches, also across Nova Scotia. The night before last, I cut a video and I accidentally didn't realize that the GFS snowfall maps were in centimeters and not in inches. So they were spitting out these like 30, 40, 45 inch, 45 numbers. And I thought they were inches, but in reality, they were centimeters. And then it turns out that there were some places that got like 80, 90 centimeters, which is every bit of 30 to 40 inches anyway. So lucky me. I made a mistake and wound up getting the forecast right for you folks in Nova Scotia and in New Brunswick and on north and eastward. And you're going to get something from this again, but I don't think it's going to be again as intense. So winter storm watches are up for Maine, for much of New Hampshire, or even into northeastern Vermont. Still getting some wind, by the way, with gusts almost to 50 miles an hour still going on over eastern parts of Nova Scotia. And let's just check what's happening in Newfoundland. Yep, on the Avalon Peninsula, we've got some gusts to 50 miles, sustained winds to 40 miles an hour with gusts to 50. So must be a lot of fun being out on that peninsula with sustained winds at 40. And you can see offshore gusts to 56, sustained at 40, gusts to 42. This is, by the way, latest observations at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Okay. And as far as our weather is concerned with respect to wind, I'm just going to widen out just a little bit here, if it lets me, because it's not letting me. Why is it not letting me? It's just, oh, I'm getting tighter and tighter. All right, here we go. Going the wrong direction. All right, so here we are. And, the weather, the gradient has relaxed considerably. Winds are fairly light across the Northeast. We've got another. This is the seedling system that's coming down from the northern Great Lakes and dropping southward. And we also have a system that's coming up from the south with low pressure moving out of Texas and heading northeastward. And the way it's timing out and the way the trough is set up, this is going to be another one for eastern New England. Now, here's the latest snowfall map from the NAM. And you've got snowfall expected on the order of generally 6 to 10 inches. Let's make it a stretch in the purple area and just go 6 to 12 and be done with it. And that extends also into Nova Scotia, 6 to 12 inches. Let me go to the southeastern Canada map, if I can do it on this sector, which I don't know. Oh, I can. Okay. So we can at least look at the NAM, and this is going to be now in centimeters in terms of snowfall. Now, it's hard. One of the things that we're going to have to look at here, it's easy for this area because there's some snow going on. Let me see what it has to start off with. Okay, so this is today through Wednesday night and Thursday. So I'm going to have to do a little subtracting. Again, this is in centimeters. So when we run it all the way through, so that the 75-hour snowfall in centimeters is going to be between 15 and 30 centimeters with some higher amounts in the darker blues. So we're talking about roughly divided by 2.5. So let's say 16. I'm just going to do it real fast off the top of my head. So it's basically from as little as 6 to maybe as much as a foot or a little bit more. So a general 6 to 12 here. And of course, the cumulative amounts for Newfoundland are going to be even higher. But notice, not much at the coast here at all. It's all inland, so there's a track issue involved. We down in our neck of the woods where we deal with a lot of snow changing to rain situations. You don't realize that happens elsewhere too. And in fact, the other thing is, at least with the NAM model, I got to be a little careful because it does cut off information here. So look at here. This is the first low, right? No, I'm sorry. This is the new low, which the NAM takes and deepens. Not quite to the depth of yesterday's. It's about 10 millibars higher, but it's still pretty strong. And you can see how the heavy snow lines up. And this new low tracks a little further to the west. The one from last night went straight east. This one tracks further west, so it actually takes the axis of the snow further westward into New Brunswick, and you can see it here along coastal New Brunswick. So this is going to be a little heavier than to the west and north, and then it swings across Newfoundland, and then on up. That low goes west of Newfoundland. It is cold up there, so even when lows go to the west, they still don't have they don't have the big rain issues like we do down here. It's a whole different world. And when we look at the GFS with this, I just want to pop that up here. We'll go to the GFS so we can get a full view. And the GFS last night, it doesn't have it quite as deep. A little less deep. It gets deeper a little later in the period, but you can see what happens in coastal Newfoundland that changes over to rain, and everybody else stays over as snow. Now, what is this going to mean for us is that we're going to probably have another round of wind to deal with later Wednesday night and on Thursday as the pressure gradient tightens up, and you can see it here on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. The pressure gradient tightens up considerably, and it's probably tighter on the NAM model. So I think the winds may be a little less fierce than they were yesterday, because we had gusts of 60, 70 miles an hour yesterday. I think maybe this time around it'll be more on the order of 30 to 20 to 35 sustained, with gusts into the 40, maybe some gusts up to about 50. Not impossible, but it is going to be another round of wind here Wednesday night into Thursday. But at least it's going to be dry. You see all the energy in the northern stream just basically absorbs the southern stream system, and then it intensifies. And then when we look to the longer range on what's going to happen, once this cold air mass for the end of the week pulls out, we warm up into next week, maybe a little bit cooler on Monday because of the height of the north, but really most of the nation's going to be warm. We have another series of storms coming into the west, and here's the first one for late this week that comes into Southern California. Here's a second one that goes into the Pacific Northwest early next week and gradually spreads heavy snows. And here's a weaker third one that's right behind that for later next week. And in the meantime, the first chance of any meaningful shower activity will probably come on Thursday of February 23rd, with this weather system that's going by to our west. But one thing I want to point out with regards to what I think is going to happen going forward, the winter so far, the pattern, it rhymes, and I mentioned this I think on one of my past video posts. The pattern tends to rhyme through a winter, so things kind of try to evolve the same way. So we have the first part of December, where we had a couple of cold shots and a couple of snow opportunities, and then the second half of December wound up flipping to mild. Then the first 10 or 15 days of January, we had a couple of snow. We actually had a couple of snow events in that stretch, and then for the next 15 days or so, the pattern switched to mild. And then we flipped back for 2 weeks for the first couple of weeks of February, and now it's flipping back to a warmer pattern for, I think, about a week and a half to 2 weeks. But I also believe that we're going to have one more pattern flip back in the other direction for the last 4 or 5 days of the month. And I think that's going to open some opportunities for snow again in the east. And I think that you have to imagine that it's going to be in the same areas that have had it all along, which is basically in New Jersey. If you are north of Route 78, north and east, you're going to have some snow chances. If you're south of that, you haven't had much snow so far this winter, so it's going to have to be perfect in order, I think, for something to happen the way given the winter we've had. So that's my feeling on this, that we're going to have a couple of more opportunities, that we're going to flip back during the last 4 or 5 days or so of February, and that we'll have some snow chances going into the first 10 or 15 days of March. That's not unusual to get some early March events, or it's not even unusual to get a late March event if the setup is right. Although, for you winter weather lovers around the New York City area, particularly around the Philadelphia area where you've gotten very little this year, the clock is definitely ticking. So We only have a limited amount of time, maybe the next 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks or so, before you have to start looking at things and seeing that in order for them to happen, they have to be absolutely perfect. And I'm speaking to snow lovers, but I know for those of you who want an early spring, be patient, because if we flip into a colder pattern, it's not likely to last for more than a couple of weeks. And we're at the time of year now where it starts to get, the cold is alleviated to some degree in the daytime with the slowly strengthening sun. We don't have any sign of Arctic air masses coming down, so at least from that standpoint, we're not seeing temperatures down in the teens and single digits at night, and not out of the 20s and low 30s by day. So from that standpoint, everything seems pretty reasonable. So we'll leave it at that. Another snowstorm for Maine and New Hampshire. We'll talk more about that and more about local weather around the New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Hudson Valley area on my Facebook page. Just go to meteorologistjoechaffee.com on Facebook, and you can like it. And I put stuff up there all day long, including live Facebook videos, which I also do. And those I usually do at night around 8 o'clock. And you can check out all the latest posts on the website at meteorologistjoechaffee.com. And if you are in the New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Hudson Valley, or Eastern Pennsylvania area, you can download my app and subscribe to my forecast. The app is free. The subscription to the forecast is just $1 a month, and you get daily forecasts at least twice a day for those areas, and they're very much zone specific, and they're written by me. So you're not getting some sort of computer-generated forecast with a pretty little icon. You're getting my thoughts, my opinions, along with real-time satellite radar and other things. And by the way, for the state of Connecticut, I don't know that there are many locally based weather apps that are specifically focused on Connecticut. So if you are interested in Connecticut forecasts, you can download the app. And again, the subscription is just $1 a month. So everybody have a great day. And speaking of which, if you've lasted this long, YouTube channel, subscribe please to my YouTube channel. That's absolutely free, and you'll get notified every time there is a video that comes up. There's my phone. Gotta go. Bye.